All right. I want to thank everybody for coming today. I want to thank my wife, Heather, and my two children, Libby and Hayes, for being here with me on this very important and very big day in our lives. We're very excited about this next year ahead of us and everything that it's going to be for all the people of Mississippi. And we have a lot of potential in our state. And one of the things that I think we have to keep in mind is that about 30% of our state's jobs and economy revolve around agriculture in the rural areas of our state. And we can't forget about that. And we have to make sure that we take care of those people if we want to take care of the rest of our state and make our state better. And so today we're announcing that we're going to be doing an 82-county farm tour. And we're going to be hitting every single county in our state, because every single county, one of the biggest parts of all of our county economies is agriculture. And we want to visit those farms, all different types of agricultural farms, and talk to those farmers about what they need to make their lives better and to make our economy better. High-speed rural internet is going to be very important in that, and we've got to get 21st century technology to every part of our state. It's just as important as electricity was 100 years ago. And so we're very excited about this tour, and we're looking forward to meeting as many people as we can over the next several months. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this point.
Where are you from?
I'm from Hernando, Mississippi.
Okay. What are you seeing that maybe some people have missed talking about, and some of your views, and what can working with the local and state government and I guess the legislature, what would you do that's different than this administration or any other administration?
Well, first, I think our administration now is doing a good job. I just think that we need to continue that momentum forward, and I think I'm the guy for that job. I have a business background, so I look at things a little bit different than somebody that's had a career in politics. I understand firsthand what working under the regulations and taxation of government does to a small business, and I also know the responsibility of signing in front of a paycheck. I understand the struggles of everyday families and everyday small business people, and I know what we need to do to help make those people's lives better.
Can you describe kind of your stance on a partial or full Medicaid expansion, what that might look like for you?
Sure. I do not personally support traditional expansion of Medicaid like they've done in some other states. But what I do support, and what we do have to take into serious consideration, is looking at waivers in an innovative way of bringing health care affordable to the working class Mississippians that are left out right now. There's about 200,000 to 300,000 people estimated by the Department of Medicaid that are in a loophole in our state. They cannot qualify for traditional Medicaid, and they are not able to afford private insurance. They don't have a corporate job or a job with the state to have insurance, and they can't afford private insurance. They're receiving the bulk of their health care, unfortunately, through the emergency room system. That costs our state a tremendous amount of money. It's bankrupting our rural hospitals. And we're looking at $1 to $1.8 billion estimated of federal match money if we were able to find a way, without raising taxes on all the other people in Mississippi, but for those people to pay into the system to help cover the state's portion of that. Indiana did something very innovative and allowed people to pay in allows people to pay in a monthly premium for those same type working class people. And if we look at that as a model to base ours off of, we can come up with something that allows those people to get affordable health care, allows them to help cover the state's 10% match, and allows our rural hospitals to continue to stay open and to prosper, and gets them the health care that they need.
The government shutdown, your views on different things, that especially Mississippi, they have as far as services that people use. How would you see it, and how would you rate that as far as what affects the local governments, different state governments?
Yes, sir. I support the president fully on why he's got the government shut. It's not him that has the government shut down. Actually, the Democratic Party in Washington is unwilling to compromise on something that's very important to our country. And we have got to have secure borders, and it's time for us to come to an agreement on how to secure those borders. The wall is a big part of that, and there are a lot of other aspects to that. We've got to reform immigration. I support legal immigration fully, but we've got to reform that system. It's a broken system. And we need everybody to come to the table and finally fix it and quit putting it off. So I think it's important that we continue to hold that ground and get the Democrats in Washington to come to the table and fix that system.
What are some key things you plan on tackling first if elected?
Healthcare reform is one of the biggest. We've also got to reform our education system. About 2 generations ago, and a little over 2 decades ago, we started moving away from vo-tech and career tech training in our high school systems in our state. And a lot of other states did the same thing. We should have expanded those opportunities is what we should have done, because the vast majority of good paying jobs were and still are and will continue to be in the future skilled labor. And we've got to give people opportunities to learn skills that they can use in the workforce. And there's skills also that big companies, all companies are dying for. They're searching for people with skilled labor so that they can grow their businesses, grow their industry. And we need to give people the tools in high school instead of waiting until after they graduate so that they can come out and be ready to go to work.
You're a first-term representative. What have you seen during your tenure, your brief tenure, that's leading you to this decision to run for governor?
Good question. I've been one term, 3 years, and this is going on my 4th year. And in that time, I've learned the issues that face our state. I believe I have the solutions to fix those problems. And the reason why I'm, quote unquote, stepping out of line or jumping up the ladder quicker than the typical person would do is that I feel that if you're, no matter how strong your convictions are, no matter how passionate you are about trying to fix our government, if you're in the system too long, it will change anybody. It will change everybody. And I don't want to lose that passion. I want to use the passion that I have now to help our state and make this run now at this point in my life so that I can do the best good for our state.
And what's the feedback that you've gotten from other legislators, especially Republicans, especially with an opponent like the lieutenant governor?
I've had a tremendous amount of support already. The people that are already sticking their necks out to help me, that are elected officials, it's amazing. People are showing me around their home counties and cities, introducing me to people. It's going to be a very competitive race. I think a lot more than people realize on the front end. I have a lot of support, and I'm very overwhelmed by it.
There's talk of legislation that could expand some broadband that could come up in this year's session. Have you heard about that? If so, would you be in support of that legislation?
I have, and I am in support of it. We've got to allow people to access high-speed internet everywhere in our state, not just in the cities. We've got to get it to the rural communities to connect them to the 21st century. It's the electricity of the 21st century. It's important, very important.
With your background as a small business owner, how do you think, what are some ways that you would suggest looking to increase that small business population in the state of?
So I think our tax structure has a lot to do with why we're having a hard time recruiting small business into our state. Our state income tax, to me, is holding us back. Texas, Tennessee, and Florida, I look to those states as a model of how to restructure our tax system. And I know there's a lot of people out there that think that's not good policy, but I think it's absolutely the best policy to look towards. The state income tax is a big reason why people don't want to move to our state and open businesses, why big companies don't want to expand in our state and bring high-paying jobs to our state. Because if you're getting a huge cut taken out on the front end of your paycheck before you ever have a decision of how you want to spend your own money, it disincentivizes people to want to move and locate and open businesses here.
So if Mississippi were to eliminate the personal income tax, would you just want that money to be gone from the state government budget, or would you propose something to another income source to replace that?
I would be open to having conversations about part of that being replaced with potentially a little bit of it, a smaller gas tax to keep our infrastructure up, obviously. That's very important to the economy. And possibly even sales tax, looking at those. There's a lot of things and exemptions. There's a lot of things there that we need to take a look at. We need to put everything on the table and have a serious conversation about it.
You mentioned your support of President Trump's immigration policy. If a policy that he tried to have in place or suggested that would be detrimental to Mississippi farmers, citizens, would you still stand with the president, or would you stand against him?
I don't believe the president has proposed anything that would be detrimental to Mississippi. He supports legal immigration just as much as I do. And everything he has said up to this point has been good policy. He just wants to reform our immigration system to allow it to work, because it doesn't work right now. It's broken.
Who's funding your campaign?
Small business people, individuals. small checks coming from people all across the state.
Are you self-funding to some extent?
I have not put a lot of money in, but I've put a little of my own money in.
Why did you decide to have kind of this rollout announcement and everything here at GOP headquarters?
Well, I already announced it about a month ago in my hometown. We had a huge turnout. Actually, the room was packed. People that wanted to come in had to wait until after people left to come in and congratulate me, and some never found a parking spot and told me that they just gave up on finding a parking spot. But this is just my first press release, press conference, and I wanted to have an opportunity somewhere close for the press, because I know it's opening day of session, for y'all to come and ask me questions about my platform, ask me questions that you've been wanting to ask.
I noticed none of your colleagues in the House are here today. Do you think that they're going to support you on this run for governor?
I believe that a lot of them will, and they're busy over there now. They haven't seen each other, a lot of them, in 6 months, and I only sent this out to the press. I didn't send it out to individuals.
Would you like to see the capital of the state of Mississippi have better roads and streets
Absolutely.
as far as
Yes, Jackson is the heart of our state, and we need to make sure that the infrastructure in this city gets brought up to date so that we can showcase it to the world.
Previous governors have provided funds out of, I guess, a governor's allotment to Jackson to help them with a variety of projects, programs. And yet, current administration has been reluctant to do that. Where do you stand?
Well, I think there definitely has to be oversight, because I think there's been some mismanagement in the past on managing the money properly. And so we've got to make sure that whatever money we do put into it is managed appropriately and put towards the right things.
Representative Foster, I don't have any of your social media in front of me right now, but kind of going out of my head, you've said some things on Twitter that are pretty harsh against the Democrats. If you're elected governor, how would you be a governor for everybody in the state, including people who may not agree with your political philosophy?
Sure. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm a very nice person. I get along with everybody personally well. Social media, it's hard to get context a lot of times there. A lot of times you may be talking about specific policies, and it gets read wrong or gets misunderstood, and I get along and work well with everybody. When I hire people at my business, I don't ever ask what type of ideology they have. I work with them. I work with everybody based on how they contribute to the business. And we have to work all together, because this is a very diverse state, and we're all after the same common goals. We want better health care, we want better education, and we want our economy to prosper. And I'm definitely somebody that will work with everybody on those common goals. And if there's things that we disagree on, I'm going to fight passionately against those things. It's not like, it's more liberals that I'm tough on, but it's not like they don't ask for it sometimes. They fight pretty hard for what they believe in. We need to fight for the things we believe in as conservatives as well.